In this video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons on the new Nokia G310 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the Nokia G310 5G right here. I've had this device for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and for the price tag, I think this is a pretty decent device. And as you guys are going to see in a second, there are definitely more pros about this device than cons. So definitely enjoying this phone so far. We're going to start off with the pros first, and of course for the first pro, this is something that we always love to see on a budget device. We actually have an SD card slot right here, so you can expand your memory, and we also have a headphone jack at the bottom of the phone as well. So always great to see that. Really happy that we have this on this phone. A lot of people do love wired earbuds, so that's great to see. And of course, expanding your memory is always a great thing. You can store all your photos and different files and stuff, and especially for the gamers or the people who have a lot of applications on their phone, you can save that on the SD card, so you have much more ample storage for your actual applications. Our second pro is going to be, of course, that this is a budget-friendly 5G smartphone, and it's one of the cheapest budget-friendly 5G smartphones out there. This device only retails for about $199, so it's definitely affordable. Rocks 5G on here, not really too much else to say. Our third pro is going to be that we have a decent haptic feedback on this phone when texting. You know, it's not the greatest, most expensive feeling haptic feedback when you're typing or anything, but the motor in here is actually pretty good, and I don't know if it's how this phone is built, but it feels really tight. The haptic feedback feels really tight. It feels nicer than usual, especially what the price tag would portray, but the haptic feedback feels really good on here, and I think most people are going to really like it compared to some other devices around this price point. And that brings us straight into the fourth pro on this device. This has a decent build. This feels like a really nice build. Also, it's much different than any other device and looks much different than any other device out right now, especially the back of the phone. I think this is a really nice looking phone. It's extremely comfortable in the hand. It fits very nicely in my hand. It's at sweet point just above 6.5 inches, and just really do like the feeling of this phone. But the build on here, it's not going to feel the most expensive, know that. This is going to be a plastic build, but it's going to feel very nice for a plastic build. The fifth pro on this device is that we have a decent fingerprint sensor. It's not the quickest in the world, but it's definitely accurate, and I've seen many other devices around this price point that really do not have accurate fingerprint sensors, but this one, pretty much a 9 out of 10 times you're going to get it, and I've just enjoyed it so far. It's been pretty accurate. Again, not the quickest in the world. Definitely not the quickest in the world, but it is decently accurate, especially for 199 bucks. Our sixth pro on this device, we have a lot of pros. We got a few more to go after this, but we have a 90 hertz refresh rate on this device, and it's definitely going to be noticeable. It's nice to see that in 2023 we get some sort of update on the display. I do not like that we have a 720p display. It is noticeable, and I think a lot of people are going to notice, especially scrolling through YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So it's not the best display in the world, but I do like that we have 90 hertz on here. Comparing this to other devices like the Revel 6X, the Revel 6X Pro, it's like we don't even have a refresh rate higher than 60 hertz, and that's kind of whack, honestly, in 2023 and even 2022. Like, we've been putting 90 hertz refresh rates on budget phones for a while now, for the last 4 years almost, or maybe even 5. So kind of weird that we don't have that on other phones. I'm grateful that we have a 90 hertz refresh rate on here, though. It was definitely needed. Our seventh pro on this device is pretty surprising, but we actually have a decent rating for our glass density on here. So we have Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for our display, and we also have a splash and dust protection on this as well. It doesn't have an IP rating because you need to pay for the certification, but you're probably going to be good if you drop this in a little bit of water or, you know, a puddle or something like that. But great to see that we have that extra added protection to the display. Love to see it. Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Number 8 is going to be that this has a decent speaker. Now, this is only a mono speaker, so we are not getting stereo speakers, meaning that we're only going to have one speaker, and that speaker is going to be at the bottom. Warning for the gamers, this is easy to cover up, so if you're gaming, I do recommend using wireless earbuds or maybe some headphones or something. But this has a decently loud speaker, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that right now. Before I play this, we also have this little thing right here that you can click to boost your audio. So there's a little dot right here, so if you click one more, audio boost is enabled, and it sounds much better, honestly. Getting into our 9th Pro on this device and last Pro, this has decent internal storage. A lot of devices don't have a lot of storage on the device, and this one actually has 128 gigabytes of internal storage, which I think is very, very decent storage, especially looking at devices, especially like recently the iPhone 12 a couple years ago. That device has a model that only has 64 gigabytes, and that released at like $800. So seeing that we have this device right here with 128 gigabytes of internal storage at $199, it's actually pretty decent. Now finally, getting into the dreaded cons about this device. Now there are only 3 cons about this device, but they're pretty big cons, honestly. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the first one, and the first one is going to be that we have an average camera performance, and honestly, it's probably a little below average. Even the Revel 6X, I've noticed they have better color reproduction and more accurate colors, you know, better clarity. These photos look a bit underwhelming as far as like the colors go. We also don't have a lot of brightness in this, so we have some darker photos, really not that sharp either. I feel like for most people it's going to be totally fine. There's just going to be that 15 to 20% of people that are going to be like, no, I'd rather opt for the better camera. I'll go with the Galaxy A14 or the Revel 6X or a Motorola device like the Moto G Stylus or something like that. So just for example, here are some of the photos I've taken on this device. They're really not the greatest in the world, but they're not the worst either. I think they're pretty decent for most people, and it's going to be fine. A lot of you are going to be like, I can't tell the difference between a good and a bad camera, and this looks fine to me. And I feel like for those type of people, this is going to be totally cool. But again, for the people that do want a better camera, I've even noticed like the Galaxy A14 and the Revel 6X phones that are around this price tag, the Moto G Stylus of this year, have better cameras. So just letting you guys know that. The second con on this device is going to be that we have an outdated display right here, an outdated front display. Now it's not the display itself, it's more so the design. In 2023, we have a teardrop notch still that has such a thick bezel right here, so don't like that. I'm sure a lot of people don't like that. And of course, at the bottom of the phone, we have an even thicker chin. So we have a thick chin and a thick forehead, looking like Crimson Chin out here with the bottom bezel right here. So honestly, very, very outdated design as far as the front display goes. I think the back looks great. I think the rest of the phone feels good, and I think it looks cool. It's just the front of the display right here, the chin and the forehead right here with that notch. It's fugly. And of course, the last con on this device, this is probably the biggest con for me. It has lackluster performance. The chipset that we have in here is a Snapdragon 480 plus 5G, so multitasking can be a bit stuttery at times. It's not going to be the greatest in the world. I feel like most people are going to be totally fine with it, but there are people that are going to be wanting a better chipset, and with that, I would say get a better phone. If you want to spend $100 more, I believe the Pixel 6a is on sale right now for like $299 to like $329 or something like that. I recently picked it up for my mom for $314.99. So if you guys want a really, really decent phone as far as performance, that's $100 and something more. You're gonna have a really, really good time with that. But yeah, games will take longer to load, of course, and if you're looking for a heavier gaming and multitasking experience, this phone is not going to be for you. But again, if you guys are going to do your light Netflix watching, your Hulu watching, going on social media, watching YouTube videos, playing Candy Crush, even playing a little bit of Call of Duty Mobile, this is going to be more than enough for most people. But if you guys are kind of more competitive in that aspect, I would definitely go with something like the Pixel 6a or like the Moto G Stylus 5G. But those are my pros and cons on the Nokia G310 5G. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, definitely leave a like down below. Also hit the subscribe button if you guys want to be subscribed. Also hit the notification bell if you guys want to be notified every time I drop a new video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. But this has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.